The mission was to bring youngsters into aviation as long as they were able to commit to the Lord's Word through the Bible, through Bible study as well. We thought that combining the discipline of aviation training, both at the ground school level and flight, would really humble youngsters, just like we as pilots have been humbled when we first get up into the air, and bring us closer to the Lord and learn about eternity. Because when you first get up there alone, when you do your solo, you really start to think very hard about life, how precious life is, and also how fragile it is if you make a mistake in the air. I'm George Neiman, and I grew up in Tanganyika, East Africa, now Tanzania. For the first 15 years of my life, I spent in Africa flying in airplanes with bush pilots, because we had a dairy farm that my parents owned, and we had to get produce to market. After that, I had to leave because of the armed insurrections, moved to England for boarding school, and after that to Canada, went to college there, got my degrees, and then eventually moved to the United States. I've been living in the United States as an American citizen since 1975, married to Melissa, who's originally from Bath, Maine, and now live in Steuben during the summer for about 5 months, and then the rest of the year in Melbourne Beach, Florida. 12 years ago, with a colleague of mine, Roscoe Bartlett, we founded Inspiration Aviation Ministries. And the mission was to bring youngsters into aviation as long as they were able to commit to the Lord's Word through the Bible, through Bible study as well. We thought that combining the discipline of aviation training, both at the ground school level and flight, would really humble youngsters, just like we as pilots have been humbled when we first get up into the air, and bring us closer to the Lord and learn about eternity. Because when you first get up there alone, when you do your solo, you really start to think very hard about life, how precious life is, and also how fragile it is if you make a mistake in the air. So this was the basic philosophy, and we have been implementing that over the last 12 years, and it is working for us. We've brought several youngsters through the program. They're now successful missionary pilots, but more importantly, they've committed their lives to Jesus. When we bring them into the Bible study, we start to screen the students and really find out if they have an initial commitment. And then, because they're interested in aviation, either the mechanical aspects of an airplane or the flight, and maybe even so far as becoming a missionary pilot overseas, which does attract quite a few, we are able to bring the whole program together for them, then network them with our instructors and many other people in the aviation industry, but always with a focus to having Bible study as, the nucleus of everything they're doing. Not only that, but learning how to perform community service in the name of Christ, going out to help whatever is needed in the local community, including like Wings of Grace does, and they have taught us this, rehabilitating buildings, helping with all kinds of work projects. This is what makes it successful. What we're doing with Inspiration Aviation Ministries at this point is trying to network with other Christian organizations. We've done so with Wings of Grace from Melbourne, Florida, and the leader there, Dwight Bell, has been instrumental in helping us find a full-time instructor, Morgan Schrack, who is with us now. She's been living in Maine and has settled here. We've also been blessed with the use of a private airfield in Newport, Maine, which is called Newport Sky Park. And the owners also have stables for horses. We're talking about possibly starting a horseback riding program and expanding to networking with more churches locally, getting a ground crew of church leaders to help us meet the demands of all of the students that we hope to attract on a year-round basis, to make a commitment to learning how to become not only pilots or mechanics, but most importantly, missionaries on the ground for the good Lord. And that will take considerable commitment and Bible study, on a weekly basis, to which they'll have to commit to. We want to go and talk to a lot of the church leaders at the local churches. I mean, we've done so with Rockland, Maine, and the pastor there has committed not only his facilities, but also attracted several students who are interested in going into this ministry, as it were, on a more full-time basis. So as we network with local churches around the major cities and villages and towns in Maine, we find that that's a very successful way to do it. And those that show an interest in aviation, of course, we give them, an introductory flight, and usually that will get them going. They'll get really excited about continuing and make a greater commitment to the ministry, and also getting their pilot's licenses. So I would say, as we connect with more and more pastors, and also, whoever is attending those local churches, we're now identifying more and more people around this area, for example, close to Newport, Maine, a lot of them who have been in the airlines, a lot who have been airplane and power plant mechanics, that are showing an interest in what we're doing. So this will be crucial for us to not only talk to the clergy, as it were, but a lot of those that attend the churches, and we hope to gain their support as volunteers. We're hoping to have at least 15 students with us every year, continuing to learn through Bible study, and also through the ground schools and the flight training programs. And from that initial crew, obviously, we will carefully select those that hopefully will go on to doing missionary work internationally. We have three graduates who are now serving, one in Hawaii, one in the Marshall Islands, and one in Indonesia, very, very successfully as missionary pilots. So that's something that we can hold up to as really good role models for those that are coming along now. Well, we would really ask for prayer for us to be able to get more resources from donors that obviously have the Lord in their heart and want to give, so that we can not only get the funds we need to keep our planes going, but also to conduct Bible study, to provide uniforms, to provide textbooks and learning materials, and ultimately we need another airplane. So anyone that can help us with that, we need prayer for that. And most importantly, we just pray that the Holy Spirit will guide us so we don't go in the wrong direction. Keep us safe. We're in a very risky business. We need to be safe, and we need to keep our heads up above the clouds, as it were. And we need the Lord's guidance in everything we do. People can be involved in our ministry by volunteering their time. If they're close to us in Maine, or even in Florida, we'll welcome them. And also, from a distance, we need your support in terms of prayers and donations. And if you know of anyone that's interested in what we're doing, please refer them on to us. We'll be really happy to speak to them anytime. Now, we're just very grateful for this opportunity, Daniel. Thank you again for giving us the opportunity to spread the word. It's the Lord's blessing that we're even here And we just thank you for that.